Hey everyone, as always, Dylan Miller Prospecting, and it's equipment review time. And I gotta tell you, I am so excited because I get to review this, the GoldHog Mini Stream Sluice. And ever since I saw Doc advertise this on his YouTube channel, I knew I had to get one in because I really wanted to review it because I'm a huge fan of the GoldHog matting. And I wanted to do this review before Christmas in case somebody wanted to add this to their Christmas wish list. And hopefully this will help you decide if it's worth the money. Now to test this out, I'm going to be running 12 pounds of material through this, all a 1/4 inch or below. It's 3 pounds of plus 10, 3 pounds of plus 20, 3 pounds of plus 40, and 3 pounds of minus 40. And added to that will be 100 pieces of gold, just like in all my other equipment reviews, but this time 5 of the pieces of gold will actually be in the plus 10. Usually for a review of any sluice or equipment that's below 24 inches, I only focus on the smaller gold. But since this is a mini stream sluice, it is 2 feet long, I want to make sure it can also capture some of the chunkier gold, because catching fine gold is great. You also don't want to miss any of the chunky stuff. Now let's just flash up the description, go to the overhead, and check out this a little bit closer. As you saw, a pretty basic description, but that's only because I could only copy and paste, and I could not include the 20-minute video that is on the order page. So it does have a ton of information about this sluice. Doc puts together a very good video, not only telling you about the sluice, but demonstrating it as well. But I will still tell you a few highlights about this. This is a 32-inch by 6-inch sluice. The matting is 6 inches by 22 inches. And it comes with 3 different mats included. It has UR matting, Talon matting, and mother load. The bottom 2 are mother load, which is what is used to catch really fine gold. Talon is a basic do-it-all mat, and the UR is pretty much a slick plate type matting. It doesn't change the flow of the water, but yet it still captures some gold. To me, it seems like a really good combination of matting, but we won't know until I test it. Now, I did order mine with the Power Pig, so I could run it as a recirculating system, and I will set it up that way on my testing jig. So I'm pretty excited to test this out and see how it does capturing those 100 pieces of gold. But the only way to do that is to actually go run it. So let's go listen to some music while I run those 12 pounds of material through this sluice. Well, finished running all that material through the GoldHog Mini Stream Sluice, and I had a few problems with it. Not with the sluice itself, but with the power head. Now, in the instruction manual, it tells you that the power head is supposed to go like this. But when I used the power sluice in this mode, it did not work. It did not clean out the material. And as you saw in the video, I had to change the setup to set it up like this. and that is how I ran the material through it. And I don't think there's any problem with running it like this. It still tested out the sluice and the matting, which is what 90% of this review is about, is the sluice itself. But since I did buy the power head, I will review it as well as a whole package. And it did function, just not in the way that they state to use it in the instructions. In fact, here is a quick little clip of me using this sluice with the power head in the correct way. Now right here, I have the sluice set up the way it is designed in the instructions with a 2-inch drop. Add some material, and as you can see, not only is the water going over the end of the sluice, but it is also pushing some of the material out until you actually add enough where the water stops pushing it out. Now here I have the sluice set at a 3-inch drop over the 2 feet, and I have the power head set up with the slightest angle possible. And it's still not really moving the material, but the water has stopped pouring over the edge of the sluice. And as you can see, the material still isn't really moving. Now I will increase the angle to the sharpest angle. And even then, the power head really isn't doing anything to move the material. It's essentially just creating a puddle. If I add more material right in the front, it does move a little bit of it, but really not too much. Now for this final test, I have the sluice set up at a 4-inch drop, and I have the power head set at the slightest angle. And I'm going to add some more material, see how it runs. As you can see, it does clean out the material a little bit faster. And also the water is only pooling up about halfway at the end of the sluice. And let's add some more material to this just to see how fast it can clean it out. So a full scoop of material here. And now we're going to increase the angle of the power head to the sharpest angle. And this seems to be the best setup for it, is at the sharpest angle. And it is cleaning out the material, but not really too quickly. And again, this is with a 4-inch drop, which is double what you really should be using on a 24-inch sluice. Now, as you saw in that part of the video, it just did not clean out the material when it is set up in this configuration. But again, I don't think it made a difference in the sluice itself. It was really just in the way the power head is set up. And in the future, what I plan on doing is drilling a hole through the bottom of the power head and just bolting it in here and just leaving it like that. It worked perfectly. I actually like it better in this situation. I just wish I already had a hole there and I would just mount it that way. But now let's just get to the actual review. All right, finished calculating my numbers, writing up my review, and let's get right to it. This again was the GoldHog Mini Stream Sluice, and I got it with the optional power head. Now you have 3 options when you buy this: the sluice itself for $99, the sluice plus legs, or the sluice and legs and the power pump. The prices are $99 for just the sluice, $139.50 for the sluice and legs, or for all 3, it's $179.85. Shipping is $34.30 regardless of what setup you choose. Now, as you can see in my model, I did not have them add the legs in. I asked them to not put the legs in because I didn't plan on using the legs and I was trying to save a few bucks, but the discount really wasn't worth it. I probably should have had the legs attached in case I ever want to take this somewhere where I'll need the legs. So don't ask them to modify it. It's easier just to get it with the legs. Now to test out the sluice, I used 12 pounds of material all the way from a 1/4 inch down to -40. To test the gold capture rate, I used exactly 100 pieces of gold plus 10 all the way down to -40. The reason I use 100 pieces of gold versus weighing it up before and after is because scales can vary. They always have a built-in number variance. So you can weigh up gold 100 times and you are not always guaranteed to get the exact same weight all 100 times. There are slight variances. So it is a little bit more scientific just to get the actual number of pieces, even though it is a lot more work having to count them up before and after. Now, as I said, I ran 12 pounds of material through this sluice with 100 pieces of gold added. And after I cleaned out the matting, panned out the tailings, I recovered exactly 100 pieces of gold. So the retention rate was 100%. I recovered all the pieces of gold that I ran through it, giving the GoldHog Mini Stream Sluice a retention rate in my test of 100%, or on my scale, a 10. Now, for functionality, I'm going to give the sluice itself a 10. It worked great. It recovered all the gold it was supposed to. But for the power head, I'm only giving it a score of a 6. While it did work, I had to play around configuring it to find a spot that I liked it at. So it's only getting a 6 for a total functionality score of 8 for the sluice and power head. For craftsmanship, they're getting a 10. It's solid aluminum. I love the GoldHog matting and really can't find anything wrong with it craftsmanship wise, so they're getting a 10. For ease of setup and use, they're getting a total score of 8. A 10 for the sluice, and again an 8 for the power head. When you receive your sluice, you will also receive a Stream Sluice assembly manual, and in the manual, it tells you to set up the power head in the opposite direction I used it in. And as I showed you earlier, I really didn't have much luck with it working in that way. So it's getting a 10 for the sluice itself, and again, a 6 for the power head, total score of 8. And lastly, for customer service and shipping, they're getting a 10. Now, I obviously sent some questions because I had them not add the legs in, and surprisingly, they answered within 48 hours. And the shipping was really quick because it was shipped out priority mail. So 10 for customer service and shipping, giving the GoldHog Mini Stream Sluice a score of 9.2. Now, the score would have been a 10 if I just ordered the sluice, but I really wanted the power head, and I really like the power head. I'm just going to have to change and modify it slightly to make it work in my situation. So lastly, would I recommend this sluice? And the answer is yes. I think the sluice is wonderful. At $133.30, I don't think you can really go wrong with this sluice. It is very portable. You could bring it to a stream, and it has a great retention rate. So I think it's a great sluice, and it will last you a lifetime. There are cheaper sluices out there. I've reviewed some of these cheaper sluices, but will they last over the years? This one, I don't think anything is going to happen to it unless you run it over with your truck while you're backing away from the stream. Now, is it worth $215.15 if you add in the power head and the legs? And that really depends on how you plan on using it. If you're only going to be using it in a stream, then you probably don't need the legs or the power head. While if you're going to be using it as a high banker or a recirculating system at home, then it's probably worth it to add in the extra $82 to get the legs and the power head added. Overall, though, I think it's really worth the money depending on what situation you need it for, from just the sluice to the sluice legs and pumps. Again, it's up to you, but I would definitely recommend this sluice. So that's going to be it. Thanks for watching. Happy panning. And if you're not already a subscriber, think about hitting that subscribe button below.